Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Yep. It's interesting, Grant, the Flames with 3 draft picks in the top 30 this year, and then you look at Columbus, also the two franchises last year and this year that people go, holy Christ, how can these guys even exist? Because Columbus was just a laughing stock and they got rid of all their players, but they've really built themselves.
And who's running that team right now? John Davidson.
Yes.
Well-respected guy
Yes.
in the hockey circles. Left the St. Louis Blues this season.
After turning that franchise around too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
A big factor in that, and now he's running. I don't think they would have got Gaborik if it wasn't for John Davidson.
My all-time favorite hockey analyst is John Davidson.
Yes.
I just loved what he did.
Yeah.
And a good guy.
Yeah.
With this draft, Grant, let's just go over, arguably where the Flames are going to finish. They could finish number 1. They could finish number 3.
Now, this year there's a bit of a lottery too,
Yes.
where
Explain that to the
I
folks.
don't know enough about it because I get more and more confused. All I know that years past, the top 5 teams or the bottom 5 teams, there was a lottery, and if you were
Yeah.
the worst team, the odds are like 50-60% or something like that you were going to pick number 1. Now there's 14 teams involved, and though the odds are pretty good you'll draft high,
Yeah.
the odds aren't as good as they used to be. Does that
Right.
make sense
Yeah.
right there? That's about as far as I know. So the Flames will probably draft top 5.
Yeah. Hopefully top 3, Grant, because
Maybe top 3, but there's more of a chance you could slip or not move up. So I would say top 3 is almost a certainty. I mean, who knows what's going to happen this week? This week they could drop to the very bottom, be the 30th team in the NHL, depending on what happens. And so they could have a top 3 pick.
Okay, so let's look at the top 3 people. And we have Seth Jones of the Portland Winterhawks, a defenseman.
Who some say is probably the best player.
Yes, and there is
Portland Winterhawks, defenseman.
Now, do you build a franchise around a defenseman? Do you look for a centerman? I mean, for years.
Are you the
and
Calgary
years,
Flames?
Yes.
No.
Or do you
No.
do you just go for the best player? Period.
If you're Colorado, you're Florida, or some other team, and Seth Jones, and you're number 1, yeah, you
go
take
for
Seth Jones. Colorado, good young forwards, they could use him. Flames, no. I mean, Flames need everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like they've got a great defense, but I would say no. To me, the Flames have to go to the best center available draft.
Okay, so that would be Jonathan Drouin, probably. I mean, then you have.
I would say Nate McKinnon.
Nate McKinnon can play
McKinnon.
forward and he can play center.
Yeah,
so.
I would say Nate McKinnon would be your top centerman. Now, or the other centerman that everybody is sort of saying is going to be up there is Alexander Barkov. He's a Finnish guy. He played the World Juniors here in Calgary as a 16-year-old. A great young forward. I think some people say could be the next Malkin, Evgeny Malkin.
Yep.
So I would say the Flames, if those two are available, it is Nate McKinnon from the Halifax Mooseheads or Alexander Barkov.
You wouldn't go Canadian just for the heart and soul?
No.
Because
No, what are you, Daryl Sutter coaching, scouting here?
I'm just saying
You take the best possible guy, skilled guy that's going to be here long term. Sure, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either Nate McKinnon or Alexander Barkov.
How about McKinnon and Drouin? They play together. They're teammates. They have chemistry. They know each other inside out. And in this day and age, when you have 3 draft choices and you can move around a little bit. You got flexibility. Wouldn't it be great to have a couple of kids that played together coming up and playing together in the NHL?
To me, I think Drouin would probably go before the Flames would have. You mean?
Well, just maybe working out a trade up, trade down. You
Could
never know.
Could be. Drouin was on that World Junior team this past year, as was Nate McKinnon. Skilled guy, great skater. He's a winger, not a center, but you can't go wrong getting a guy like that too.